And there it goes. All right, perfect, guys. Just for the record, I got to let everybody know that this training is being recorded for those who are not able to be with us this morning. But today we are going over the Realty One marketing presentation. So this is a listing presentation that you can use for your sellers when attending a listing appointment. Now, this is something that I put together. My team always used a marketing presentation or a listing presentation. This is a template that you can use on your own. And for everybody on this call, if you want a pre-designed book that has all of this in here that is ready for you to use, all you have to do is shoot me an email after we get off the phone call here, and we will have one made for you. But this is something that you can use the way that it is written, or you can design it and make it your own. So I think it's important to know some of the steps when presenting sellers with an offer to list and market their properties. It's all too often that I have found that agents just walk into a listing with a blank copy of their listing contracts, their business card, and a smile. And I can tell you that that is the lazy way to do real estate. Me personally, being a heavy lister in the real estate market, I always loved it when I was the third agent on the scene and I walked in and I sat at the dining room table to talk to sellers, and I saw two other full blank contracts sitting there with business cards on them, because I knew that my job coming in as the third agent to be interviewed to list this house was going to be easy peasy, because I had a marketing plan that was tailor fit for that client, that really expressed what my unique value proposition was, what I could offer them. And it showed that I put a lot of love and care into researching their home before I got there. Understand that your listing presentation is a direct reflection on how you are going to be presenting and marketing the seller's property, and you need to let them know that. I would start out by talking to the seller and showing them my marketing presentation and saying, hey, I have a marketing presentation that I have designed just for you. Understand that I do need to go through every step with you. I want to make sure that you are completely knowledgeable. And the way that I market myself will be a direct reflection on how I am prepared to market you as a seller and your home to get you the best price at the best terms. Okay, so today we're going to go through this marketing presentation. It has everything in it that you need to do from start to finish to make sure that your sellers are completely knowledgeable of all of the processes of the home. And if you are a new agent that often forgets what you're supposed to say next, or is not 100% confident on all of the things that you need to ask, all of the things that you need to explain, this is a cheat guide for you to really understand what you should be saying and things that you shouldn't be saying when you're presenting to a seller. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this up. You should be able to see it. Great. All right, so here's the cover page. This is a bind folder. So again, if you want a copy of this, you just shoot me an email and I will get you a copy of this so that you can start using it. They're actually very, very nice. But this is what the front of it looks like, the Realty One marketing presentation. And inside you're going to find on the first page, it has just an introduction of our purpose. And the purpose is to open doors across the globe, one home, one dream, one life at a time. So as I go through this, I'm going to be presenting this to all of you like I would if all of you were the sellers of a property. Okay, so feel free to stop me at any time, ask me any questions, because the seller traditionally would do just that. But I'm going to present it to you as if you are my potential client and I want to list and sell your home. All right. So I've prepared this marketing presentation for you just to tell you a little bit more about the services that we offer. I know that you may have spoken to other agents and they may or may not have had a marketing presentation designed for you, but I think it's important to go over the services that we offer, the cost for those services, and make sure that you are 100% knowledgeable of the processes that'll take place. I understand that going through this marketing presentation takes a little bit of your time, and I really do appreciate how valuable your time is, but understand that the way that I market my services is a direct reflection of how I'll be marketing your property. So first of all, I just want to tell you what our purpose is. And our purpose is to open doors across the globe for all people in need of housing. We believe in the presence of one home, one dream, one life at a time. And I'm here to tell you that I am here to bring positive results to your home sale and really affect your life in a positive way. We do this by living by our 6 C's. Our 6 C's are our commission, because we do value our real estate professionals and clients, the coaching that we give to our agents to make sure they're the most knowledgeable professionals in the market, the community that we serve, our culture. We value unity, plus, we like to have a little bit of fun. Our connections, how we connect people through our technology and branding, and care. We value relationships with our clients and other agents, and we celebrate everyone. This here goes over our one tool chest, and this is how we make sure that we have the technology and the programs to really hypercharge your listing to ensure that the most amount of eyes are on it, yet it's staying compliant with state and federal guideline rules. We use a couple different programs like SkySlope to ensure that we're reporting to the state and federal agencies in a meaningful manner. We use One Design for a lot of our marketing for your home. Boost by HomeSpotter allows us to take your home out onto multiple social media platforms, and ListHub allows us to connect with you as a seller and give you real-time analytic information on what's happening with your listing online. I love this program because it allows you to see exactly what I'm seeing so that you're informed at all times. You'll be able to know how many visitors are coming through our Realty One website, as well as third-party websites like Zillow, Homes.com, Realtor.com, and co-brokers. So you will know in real time. And in fact, they send you a report once a week on how well or how not well we are doing with marketing your property, so we can discuss it together like a team and make adjustments if needed. We have additional tools that our sellers need to help you succeed with your home sale and your move forward. And we do offer ListTrack. ListTrack helps with marketing and daily and gets exposure to your property on a daily and weekly basis. Our One Suite allows us to reach out to our database of over 30,000 community members here in the market and tell them what's going on with your home and why they should be touring it. Our One Marketplace keeps you connected. So if you need any type of vendors or support, One Marketplace is the place we go to help you find those services. And Move Easy is a program that we use to help make your move from one house to another as easy as possible by providing moving services and utility transfers. Here are a few of the awards we've received over the last couple years. And here is my resume. So, side note, there is an insert inside your book where you can insert your printed resume. At this point, you would take a copy of your resume out of the insert and you would hand that to your client. Now, your resume can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. It can be in any format, but if you want the format that I've used here, I'll be happy to send you a template. With me, I've kept it pretty simple. I've put meet your agent, and I've put some information about my background. I've placed my certifications down below. I've put a little summary of who I am under Meet Christina. And then I put my skills summary. Okay, so what I am good at based on what others have told me. So if you're an agent that has been in the market for a long period of time, it'll be a little easier for you to put your resume together. But if you're a new agent, what I want you to do is put your skill sets that you've learned prior to coming to real estate. Okay, so if you were in the customer service field, then maybe you want to write your Meet Your Agent very customer service driven. If you are an analytical mind and you value data, research, staying on task, I would put that in there. Whatever your strong suits are is what I want you to put down. Something else you can do is you can put references and testimonials on your agent resume. That is not something that I placed on mine, but it's definitely something you can do. Make sure if you're putting resumes or references on your resume, just make sure that you're getting the person's permission before releasing any of their contact information. After we go over my resume, and I've given that to them to keep, next I'm going to review the home seller timeline with them. First step in our process is that you are shopping for a realtor to represent you. That's what I'm doing here. Next, once you accept me as your real estate professional, we're going to go ahead and we're going to prepare your home. We're going to go over any problems that you may not be aware of. Maybe we need to declutter or stage and have professional photos taken. After your home has been placed on the market, we will receive offers on the property. So we will go ahead and negotiate those offers to make sure that you're receiving the price that you need for the terms that you deserve. Once we've accepted a buyer, then we go under contract. And this is where contingencies come into play. Those contingencies may be things as far as inspections, appraisals, or financing contingencies, as well as a few others that don't normally come up. I'll be guiding you through all of the inspection phases and helping you negotiate each one so that we can go to closing. Each one of those contingencies sometimes requires negotiation. So a buyer will present a list of wants or needs that needs to be done, maybe for the inspection because a repair is needed to be made that wasn't disclosed or known about, or maybe there's something in there that maybe needs to be updated or performed. But we'll go ahead and negotiate those when it comes. After that, we'll hear back on the appraisal. We don't get a copy of the appraisal because it's ordered by the buyer, but we do get notification whether it valued and if there's any conditions. If there's any conditions, we can then go back to the negotiation standpoint and I'll walk you through that so that we can get to closing and then you can move. All right. So now that we've talked about the timeline, let's go over our marketing checklist timeline. So these are some things that we'll need to do to get your home ready so that we can put it on the market. So we're going to go through a walkthrough checklist. We're going to review the CMA and market data that I've prepared for you, discuss options and services. We're going to review and sign seller listing packets. We're going to get the dimensions and home facts done. Then we move on to photos, videos, and 3D renderings. We install a temporary sign and lockbox, and then the home goes live on the MLS, social media, and we announce our first open house. So let's look a little further into conditioning your property. So let's review some features that sell, discuss HUD requirements, and depersonalizing the space. First off, I just want to touch on a few features that will sell your home. So a lot of sellers ask me, what are some things I can do to make sure that I am getting the best price and that the home has the least amount of days on market? My first answer is always curb appeal. So your buyer will make up their mind within the first 15 seconds arriving at your property, whether they love your property or not. So your curb appeal needs to be on point. Now, when we talk about curb appeal, we don't need to rip out all of the shrubs and start taking down trees. There are small changes that you can do to ensure that your home looks the best. And that includes keeping the lawn trim, the entryway clean, and the exterior freshly painted or power washed. Just an outside cleaning will do. Now, if you want to add some pizzazz to the exterior of your home, and we're currently in a season that permits it, planting a few flowering plants may be helpful as well. Next up is going to be your kitchens and baths. A nice kitchen and a nice bath will sell a home every time. These should be your top priorities because they are the top priorities for your buyer. So even minor changes like hardware updates and lighting can make a big difference. Mr. Seller, you would be so surprised what changing out your light fixtures can do to a home. Fresh paint and modern flooring is a must. So neutral colors and keeping it clean. Any of your rooms that have very bright or overpowering colors should really be painted to garner the best price. You want to make sure that the home is neutral, suitable for all personalities, and neat, clean, and ready to move in. Clean, move-in ready condition. A spotless home shows pride of ownership and reduces buyer objections. So I would tackle any common HUD required repairs so that we're getting as many offers as possible, and have your home professionally cleaned before we go on the market. I understand that every seller lives in their home and there's always going to be things, but doing a deep cleaning really does help the buyer believe that you take really good care of your home and they really see it for all of its positive attributes. Inside the next checklist item, there's like the little insert in the listing presentation is a HUD checklist. So I often went over this with my sellers, and I would just go through and I would then tour the house. And as I'm touring the house, I would just make a circle or a highlight on anything on this list that came up. Most common things you're going to find on the HUD checklist is going to be things like missing handrail where there's 3 or more risers, GFCIs missing from the bathrooms, open junction boxes in the basement, missing drip leg on the hot water tank. So those are things that commonly come up for just about everybody. But there are some serious conditions to look out for, and this lists them based on their area. So you can see right on the first page, which I placed here, site hazards and nuisances, graining and drainage, individual water and sewage systems. So it's going to give a breakdown of all of that. So I go through this checklist and then I leave a copy of the checklist with the sellers so that they know what they should be repairing based on the visual inspection that we did together. Now, just a side note, if the seller is asking you for additional information or if this is a complete list, the answer should always be no, because you are not an appraiser. You are not a home inspector. So you should tell them that this is just an exercise that you're doing together. And should they want more complete and accurate information, they need to call those licensed individuals to have a full examination done. Okay. After we do that, we meet back and we talk about our pricing strategy. So this is when we're reviewing the home facts and we're talking about the CMA. Right in here, you have another insert where you would insert your CMA report and you would review that with the seller. I often suggest when doing your CMA, make sure that you have a range of values, especially if you've not already visited the home and you don't know if it's overall conditions or amenities. So have a range. You have a lower range that says, okay, if the home is a little less than market average or its comparables, then it could be priced at this range. Or you have a higher range so that if you get into the home and the home is predominantly updated and much nicer than what the market average is, then you know kind of where your float is, you know where the higher end of things are. So I always suggest putting in a range. I also always suggest putting in a range for your CMA report for liability reasons, okay? Understand that we are in a very trigger-happy society where people like to sue one another. So if you are quoting a price, it could be misinterpreted as providing an appraisal value. So make sure you're not doing that and place a range in all of your CMA reports. After you're done talking about the CMA report and you've nailed down exactly where the seller wants to be as far as pricing the home, you then roll over to your marketing services page. So the marketing services here, this kind of gives you an outline of the items that we're going to go over. And I always tell my seller, I offer a lot of different values and a lot of different plans for marketing properties. I understand that you are very unique, and I understand that your home is also very unique. So I don't have a one-size-fits-all program like most agents. I allow my clients to really pick the services that are important to them, and then we price their program based on their services. So I'm going to go over the services that I offer. First up is going to be signage. We offer a variety of signs. Our traditional 6-foot yard sign is the one that is most common and probably the one that you would most recognize. We also have 18 by 24 yard signs that are smaller and more affordable. We do provide directional signs that direct traffic to your home, as well as specialty signs and riders. So specialty signs and riders are the signs that hang off of your sign that would include the words like acreage, master suite, garage, or swimming pool. We also have commercial and high traffic signs. However, this is a single family home, so I really don't think that you need a commercial or high traffic sign at this time. Next, some of the services that we offer is the MLS listing service. I do have to tell you that this is optional, although highly recommended. And I'm going to stop there. Why did I say that? Why did I just say that the MLS listing service is optional but highly recommended? Any chime in?
Because people have the option if they don't want it to be on the internet.
They do. So post NAR, we have to give each seller the option not to be listed on the MLS. This was part of the NAR antitrust change, and they've recently just put that regulation into effect. If you're reading your NAR newsletter that comes out, it is very important that you notify sellers that the MLS is optional. Okay. I don't know many sellers that are not going to want their home on the MLS, but if they do say they don't want it there, you just need to explain what that means. So if somebody would tell me that I do not want my house on the MLS, I would say that's totally fine and you're right. I just want to disclose with you what will happen if the home is not on the MLS. The MLS is a system that IDX feeds to 137 different sites and platforms across the internet. This also means that your home will not likely show on service websites such as Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Trulia, or any co-broke websites. And then they will say, well, I want my house on it. Well, then it has to be on the MLS. Some sites will allow us to add them separately and some will not. Okay, and then you let them decide. This goes over the IDX exchange. So for those of you who don't know what an IDX is, it is the Internet Data Exchange System. Our brokerage participates in the IDX, as do most brokerages. Okay, so the client has the ability to place the home on the MLS, but to turn the IDX off. And there is a button when you're doing the listing. So if they want it on the MLS, but say they don't want it on Zillow, you would have to turn the IDX off. However, we cannot turn off each individual IDX feed. So on the MLS, it's either all or nothing. Okay, so they can participate in the MLS, but they don't have to participate in IDX. But if they want to participate in IDX, but not the MLS, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so you can't have one without the other. So it can be on the MLS and no third-party websites, not even our own, or it can be on the MLS and have the IDX feed. Okay, so there's a button on the MLS that you can do that. Again, very uncommon, but something you should be disclosing post-NAR settlement. Realty One Group website. Your listing will appear on the National Realty One Group website and all connected agent broker pages, increasing brand-backed visibility. If it is a commercial listing, it will also appear on LoopNet, or if it's a new home construction, it can appear on New Home Professional, which is the MLS of brand new construction homes. All right. Any questions on that stuff? I know that was a little bit more detailed. No? All right. Moving on, photos that sell. I offer a couple photo packages. One is a professional photo shoot where we're bringing in a photographer to do crisp, bright images that highlights your home's best features and make it stand out. We also offer video walkthrough tours, which is just a guided tour that helps buyers feel like they're walking through the home. And this is perfect for relocation or out of town buyers. I also offer drone photography and drone video services should you want those. We offer twilight exterior photos, as well as property highlight tours and videos. Okay. All of these can be done if anybody needs help on how to do their photos, who to call for their photos, how to do video walkthrough tours, twilight tours. I'd be happy to give you guys more information on doing those. It's not as tricky as you think. Next, staging services. We offer virtual staging services. So those for empty or outdated rooms can be digitally furnished to show buyers the true potential of your listing. And here's an example of one I did. So this on the left-hand side is what the photo originally looked like. On the right-hand side is virtual staged photos. So that furniture is not really there, but it allows the buyer to see what it could look like decorated, and gives it more depth of space to show them how truly large the space is, where the photo on the left really looks like a smaller room. You can tell on the right, it is a very big room. So it does provide it depth. We also have a virtual furniture removal service. So as long as the home isn't completely cluttered with items and there's just a few pieces of furniture that needs to be removed, we do have the ability to remove furniture as well. My social media services include social media campaigns, which are targeted ads on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn to help reach your ideal buyers within the community. One Brand Boost is a proprietary system only available at Realty One Group Ultimate, and that's high quality images and videos that are posted regularly to all agents' social company-wide, to all agents' social sites company-wide to showcase your home and multiply your reach on social media. We offer live video tours of the property, real-time interactive open houses that are based online. And we also provide social media reels and stories. If you want to take it a step further and really attract those online buyers or those who are relocating from another state, 3D home tours is the way to go. Platforms like Zillow and Realtor allow integrated 3D home tour listings, giving buyers an immersive experience while they're browsing online. I can tell you that homes with 3D tours tend to sell much faster and at a higher rate than those not sold. And it really, and those really do attract out-of-town buyers or relocation buyers. So they do tend to rank higher on third-party websites as well because the 3D tour is present. We, of course, do events. We offer public open houses and broker open houses. And we still do print advertising. So we do offer property brochures and flyers, newspaper ads, neighborhood postcards, direct mail campaigns, and open house invitations to the neighborhood. All right, now that I've talked to you about all of the things that are available to you, now let's discuss our marketing plans. Like I said, every client that I serve is unique and their home is just as unique. So we offer multiple programs to fit any budget depending on what your needs are. Let me ask you, Mr. Seller, is there something that I presented today that is really important to you? And let's say the seller says, what's really important to me is professional photography. Great, professional photography. Is there anything that I've mentioned today that is maybe not so important to you? And let's say what's not so important to him is the 3D home tour. Yeah, I don't really care about the 3D home tour because whoever buys this property is probably going to be from my community because we're a small town. Right. Well, considering that you want professional photography, but you don't really care about the 3D home tour, I really think that our silver plan is going to work best for you. On our silver plan, you're going to get the MLS listing, the IDX feed, showing coordination, 25 professional photos taken by a photographer, a for sale sign, and that's going to be the post sign that we talked about, the big one, directional signs leading to your property, lockbox, boosted social media marketing, weekly traffic reports, weekly feedback reports, an email blast to over 30,000 contacts within your community, one Facebook Live open house, all the room dimensions taken for your listing, a property panorama, and a coming soon ad 3 days prior. For this, it's a 3% commission plan. Now, you said that the 3D home tour and some of the other items weren't as important to you, so I wouldn't want to put you in the gold plan because it is a little bit more expensive. And considering what you've told me about your desires, I think that the 3% plan is a decent enough plan for you. And you may say, 3%, are you willing to negotiate? Well, and as a matter of fact, I am. So you could drop down to the bronze program. However, it does not include the professional photos that you said were important. And you also lose a couple other of the items that are on our silver plan. So you see what I did there? I brought them right in for that silver plan. I asked them what was important to them, and I brought them to the program that had what was most important to them, which is the silver plan. Now, if they ask if you want to negotiate, the answer is yes. Yes, I'd be happy to negotiate. So for a 2% commission, we could drop you down to our bronze, but it only includes MLS, IDX, showing coordination, professional style photos, which means you're taking them yourself in a professional manner, the small for sale sign, lockbox, standard social media marketing, weekly traffic report, and a weekly feedback report. What they are losing is their coming soons, their property panorama, their room dimensions, their Facebook open house, their regular open house, their email blast, their 25 professional photos, and they are downgrading their for sale sign. So there's a give and take there. Now, do you have to stick to this menu of services? The answer is absolutely no. Absolutely no. Real estate services are negotiable, but understand most people take that as like, oh, well, the seller can negotiate and basically just tell me what they're going to give me. The answer is no, that's not how it works. When you negotiate something, it means that at least two people are communicating back and forth to find middle ground. So just because that our services and what we charge have to remain negotiable doesn't mean that you have to take what is given to you. Your job is to negotiate the best commission for yourself while offering value-added items to the seller that make them feel like they should be paying you that value. So yes, you can negotiate. What if the seller says, well, I really like all of this stuff in the gold plan, but I don't like the commission. Are you willing to negotiate on that commission? The answer could be yes, I would negotiate. And maybe between the two of us, I'll say, listen, if we take out the 25 neighborhood postcards and we drop that down to one open house, then I'll do it at 3.5%. And he says, okay, great. That sounds wonderful, right? So you can negotiate back and forth until you find middle ground. Now, the most controversial thing I'm going to show you all day. And if Jamie's on the phone, which she was on the phone, I can't see if she is now. Jamie, don't yell at me. Be kind. This is the 1.5% marketing plan. This is on the back of the menu. You don't have to offer this. You can have this printed with just the front. But this is something that I did that resulted in huge explosion of my listing business, okay? This is not for everybody. You may disagree with me, and that's okay. This was for me to do. This was good for me and for my business model. It may not fit your business model, and that's okay. But I'm going to share a little secret on how I did it. All right, so I was signing up. We actually did the training on it for Ultimate Launch yesterday about referral sites, right? Third-party referral sites for those of you who were there. And one of the places I mentioned was Clever Real Estate. So I was signing up for all of these referral sites, and I stumbled across this website called listwithclever.com. Okay. List with Clever is kind of like a clearinghouse of sellers who want to put their house on the market, but they want to save money and yada, yada, yada. So anyway, back in the day, and it's changed since then, but back in the day, you had to agree to list the seller's property for a 1% commission. And it was like minimum, like $1,500 or something like that. But keep in mind, this was probably 15 years ago too. The company still exists. They've just changed things a little bit. So it was a 1% listing at a minimum of $1,500. Okay. And you had to provide this list of services, and the list of services was not long. It was like MLS inclusion, yard sign, lockbox, documents and closing, and professional style photos. Like that's what you offered to the seller. And at that time, I was really trying to move from a buyer's agent into a listing agent. So I took those leads, and I took those leads all day long. And at first, I was only offering that 1% plan to the people that came through Clever. And I got a lot of listings that way. Not only did I get a lot of listings, I did a lot of dual transactions because I did a lot of open houses at these places. These were places that were like $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 places. Now, every once in a while, I got the lower end stuff, but you take the good with the bad, right? But I was getting price ranges that I never even thought were possible to get. So I had my yard signs like literally everywhere. Like all of a sudden I was thrust into like Bethel Park and Fox Chapel and Swickley and all of these, to me at the time, very affluent areas that I never thought that at this point in my career I could be in, right? So I'm like, okay, if I can get my sign there, then I can start marketing to the rest of the neighborhood, right? And that's exactly what I did. I started marketing to the rest of the neighborhood. So I would hold open houses, even though that wasn't part of the plan. I was hosting open houses, hoping that the neighbors would come over and then start listing their properties with me, or that the ideal buyer would walk in and then want to buy this, or I could help them show something else. And to be honest with you, that's exactly what happened. My sellers were so happy that I'd saved them money. They were telling their friends that they saved so much money with me and that they had a great experience. And then those sellers would come over, and then I would kind of allow them to negotiate a little bit more. And maybe I wasn't doing it for 1%, maybe I was doing it 2% or whatever with all the referrals. And then it just kind of snowballed off of that. Okay. So that got my wheels turning, and I started offering this program to every run of the day sellers as part of my marketing menu. Okay, so now this list with Clever charges 1.5%, minimum $3,000 for the leads that they send over to you. It has increased over the years because, again, this was 15 years ago. So they have increased. They have changed a little bit with the times. But again, you're offering just your standard basic services. So when I turned that over and started using this marketing program and then offering it to for sale by owners and expireds, well, then that just blew the lid off of a whole new clientele. Right? That's the way I got in the door. I would call these FSBOs and say, hey, I'd love to come out and I'd love to tell you about a program that I offer that'll help you save money and get your home sold for more money and for quicker on the market by providing you exposure. And what's the question they always ask? How much do you charge? And then I can answer, I have multiple plans to suit anybody's needs. Our marketing plans that start at 1.5% and they go up to 4%, just depending on what you select. But that really garnishes a deeper conversation between me and you to make sure that you are getting exactly what you want and you are only spending what you need. And that gets you in the door. So this is kind of what it looked like. Entry only listing plan for sale by owner contacts, MLS inclusion, which means you put it on the MLS. It has the IDX service feed. So it's going to Zillow and Realtor and Trulia and all the places. A yard sign, a lockbox, and you're doing the document and closing services. You notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say open house. It doesn't say professional photography. It doesn't say drone photography. It does not say boosted Facebook post. It does not say neighborhood postcards. It doesn't say any of that. Now, you may choose to do that. You may choose to do an open house. You may choose to start farming the neighborhood. You may choose to do the boosted social media plan. But you choose it because it's what's good for your business, not because the seller is paying for it. Now, if I had a for sale by owner come in that's a $600,000 listing in Fox Chapel, you better believe I'm telling everybody about it. Like I'm going to boast about it, chest out wide. Like I got this listing. I'm sending postcards to everybody. I'm doing an open house every Sunday and maybe every other Thursday. Because I want the buyer on that and I want the neighbors to list with me. But again, it gives you the luxury to do things and you're spending the money to not only help your client, but to really benefit your business. Okay. And the 1.5% marketing plan allows them to save money and time by leveraging the power of the broker's marketing. If you look down at the very bottom in the fine print, it says minimum commission is $32.50 plus broker fee on all plans. Advertised plans are subject to change without notice until such time that a listing agreement is signed by the parties. So let's say that somebody passes along your advertisement or by word of mouth, because you don't want to be handing out these advertisements, just so you know, this is for presentation purposes only. But let's say you get word of mouth and then you have somebody with a $50,000 house want to list at the 1.5% marketing plan. How you protect yourself is that it does have that minimum commission in there. The minimum commission is $32.50 plus the broker fee. If we're going to list a $50,000 house, what are we charging anyway? Anybody know? April, Yoda. $32.50. So you're not losing anything, right? If they come over and you get them with the 1.5% marketing plan, it's a $50,000 house, you're charging $32.50 anyway, or at least you should be. I can't tell you what to charge. Full disclosure, nobody come after me. I can't tell you what to charge. But my rule of thumb is that's my opening line is $32.50. Wherever you land is between you and your client because it is negotiable. So anyway, this is what I use. Love it or hate it, just had to give that to you. It can be a great tool if it's used appropriately. Okay, it can be a great tool if it's used appropriately, but don't let the 1.5% kind of trip you up. You want to use that as a tool to get listings that you normally could not get on your own, maybe because it's outside of like your traditional market, or maybe your experience level hasn't reached that new level. So then you can provide a cost savings that would entice a seller to put their trust in you, as opposed to another agent in the market who has more qualifications and charges the same amount. Okay, it's a great way to get in. Hold on, I got to take a drink. Sorry, this is a longer training. All right. Once they've determined the marketing plan that is right for them, then you're going to go on to your document and prep stage. So you're going to tell the seller, listen, I'm going to review some listing documents with you. We're going to set up your timeframes and we're going to complete some disclosures. I always make a joke with the disclosures, and I tell them there's a couple disclosures that you're going to need to do. One is like 9 pages long, and I am so sorry. Somebody who gets paid way more than me was designed to do this disclosure. It is the worst thing that you will fill out all day. But I promise you, it is very important. And we want to make sure that we're filling it out to its entirety. All right, so there's another little insert thing that will have your blank listing packet in there with all of the documents that you need. So if you know that you're already listing the home, you can always fill these out in advance. Every time I do this training, somebody says, well, I filled them out on SkySlope and I have them pre-printed. And yes, you can absolutely do that. Absolutely do that. I personally always keep a blank listing packet with me at all times, in case I have the opportunity to put a house on the market that I was not expecting to put on the market. So I'm just saying, keep a blank one with you. Like, even if you have like one that's pre-printed and it's like stuck in front of that, great. Just keep a blank one with you, because you never know. You never know. All right. So then you're going to pull that out and you're going to explain all the listing documents to them, make sure that everything is signed out, filled out properly, and make sure that the disclosures are filled out. All right, next, you're going to collect some more data. So we're going to review some important home facts and do measurements of the rooms. Usually, I will do my measurements of the rooms while the seller is doing their seller's disclosure statement. So I will go around the house and I will make myself busy during that time. I suggest that you do the same. This little input sheet here will help you do that. So that way you're not kind of like micromanaging the seller. You're still in earshot if they have a question, but you're also, being very useful and respectful of both people's time. So this is a West Penn multiple list property input statement. You cannot find this anymore because the West Penn has done away with it. Okay. I used to love this sheet. I used to love it. It was like, it used to be required when we were using the MLS forms. For those of you who are new, you have no idea what I'm talking about with the MLS forms. Totally okay. But I used to love this because it was a great check sheet for me to use when I was listing a property. And I still use it today. I just don't turn it in anywhere. I just use it as an overall check sheet. So this is available on the Google Drive. So we can send you a copy of this that you can keep in your file if you want to use this as part of your check sheet. But again, I still use it. It helps me kind of remember all of the questions to ask, all of the things that I need to check for, like what is the roof made of, what is the construction of the building, what types of flooring are in the house, all of the things. And it's about 3 pages long. So this is the point where I go through and I do that. It also has this little area down here where you can take room measurements of all the rooms and then write them in there. And then you have this available with you when you're putting the home in the MLS. And a lot of the information that's on here matches the MLS exactly. So it's great. All right. Once you're done with that, we are going to come back to the seller. We're going to collect those seller's disclosures, answer any final questions that they have. You're going to put those back in your packet so you don't lose them. And then we're going to talk to the seller about their visual aids and marketing. So we're going to set up a day and a time for photography, and we're going to review some tips for preparing their home for the photo shoot. Inside, there is a 3-page checklist that you are going to leave with your seller. This is going to give them some tips on what they need to do to make the home ready, okay? And you can use this as a personal checklist the day of the photo shoot before the photographer gets there to make sure things like all the lights are turned on, their medications are put up, nobody left the toilet seat up, because there is nothing worse than a picture of a bathroom with the toilet seat up. I promise you. It's just my pet peeve. Put the toilet seat down. Put it down. So you can use this as your own personal checklist. On the very back page of this checklist, there's a time and day for you to fill in while you're at the listing appointment for what day the photographer's coming, or if they opted for a program where you're going to take the pictures and you're taking them at a later date, you can put the day and time that you're coming back to take photos. Okay. So this goes over this is page 2 of that. It goes over the kitchen, the bedrooms, the baths, the exterior. And I wouldn't really read this out to them, but do, point out some of the more important things that are relevant to their home. Like if they have a lot of stuff in their rooms, less is more, clean and simple. So, maybe say, we want to make sure that anything that you don't need from day to day is getting packed up, and maybe it's in a case underneath the bed. Maybe we have a moving staging area in the garage where you're putting your boxes, those types of things. All right, site setup and access instructions. Please don't skip the next steps. All right, please don't skip the next steps. Collection of key. So this is going to be a reminder to those who are new at listing. Oh, I need a copy of the key, installation of the lockbox, showing availability and communication worksheet, which is so important. If you want to provide a high level of customer satisfaction, do not forget to fill out this worksheet. So there is a client communication sheet in the next insert where you can pull out and fill out with them. One thing I always ask is who is going to be the primary contact? If there's only one seller, then that's pretty easy. But if they're like a husband and a wife, or if it's an estate and there's 5 kids, you gotta pick a primary contact. Like there is one person that I'm going to be calling and emailing. So who's that going to be? Because I don't want to have to bounce from 5 different people to get an answer. Who is going to be the primary decision maker, the primary point of contact? Okay, so I put that person's name down, their telephone number, and their email address. I also ask the client how they prefer to be contacted, call, text, or email. This is going to help you understand if somebody says, well, I don't really check my email that often. Okay, I know that I need to call or text you and let you know that an email is there. I don't text real well. Okay, that tells me I'm not going to text you. I'm going to call you. So this is a good opportunity for you to understand how they communicate. The biggest complaint for real estate agents is what? My agent doesn't, holler it out.
Communicate.
Communicate, right. My agent doesn't communicate. That if I get a call from a customer that our brokerage is working with, and it's about an agent, it's because they can't reach the agent. And then I talk to the agent says, well, I've texted her 3 times. Well, does she text? I don't know. Well, that may not be her primary communication. It's our job to communicate with our clients in a way that suits them best. And it's not about what suits us best, because guess what? What do I say all the time? It's not about us. It's about our clients. They're paying us to treat them with the highest level of regard and respect. They're literally paying us. It's not about us. We're working for them. All right. So make sure you're communicating in a way that is best for them. Ask them what time of the day to contact them. Maybe they work during the day. Maybe the evenings are better. So know what time is best to contact them. Ask them if they're going on vacation, if they're going to be out of town. That's going to be important. Write the dates down. And this check sheet also gives you home access details that you're going to need to know. I often used to forget, what's the garage door code? Oh, there's a security system. How do we disarm it? Oh, you have a shed. Does it have a lock on it? Do we have a key to it? Are you going to unlock it before showings? There are second pages on here in regards to pets. Like, do you have a cat? Do I need to make sure I'm informing people that come in to shut the door? Don't let the cat out. Where's the dog going to be during appointments? Those types of things, right? So I would use this communication and accessibility checklist to help you stay well organized and to make your client feel like you've really taken the time to get to know them and understand their needs on a deeper level. Okay. This is the last page about initiating marketing. This is where you wrap up and you thank the seller for the time that they spent. I know that was a lot, but I wanted to make sure I was well informed to market your home appropriately. So I have all I need right now to start your marketing, and you just relax and let me handle the rest. And then you end your appointment. Okay. All right. Open it up. What's everybody think about the listing presentation?
So I've used it once before, and I did get good feedback, like very thorough, covered everything. And the only reason I didn't get it was because of a 3D tour, which I did tell them that I would do it. So to me there, I need to make sure that I have a visual with that, like maybe show them an actual one to show them, how it works, maybe get the point across a little bit more. But I think that this presentation is very helpful because people are very visual. So sometimes just kind of talking and not actually showing them, consumers are usually more visual than they are, hearing it and retaining all of it. So definitely helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe even asking the seller, is there anything here that is important to you that I didn't mention? And then the seller would say, oh, well, 3D home tours are really important to me. Oh, well, we do offer those. Let me go back to that page. So maybe that would be helpful as well, because there is a lot of information in there. And the problem is we don't really know what a client's desires are until we ask, and then they give that information,
Yeah, and what was I going to say? It was actually really cool. I did a 3D tour, and they actually do floor plans too that comes with it. So it actually gives I don't know how accurate they are, but the approximate room size to the property on there too. So that could be useful without, showing people, and that I thought it was really neat. So
yeah. Zillow 3D does a good job of it, but I know that the other third-party sites, they do it as well. I've always liked Zillow's system of doing it, and I do like it that if you have a 3D home tour and floor plan on Zillow, it boosts your listing higher than those without, and it kind of overrides the algorithm a little bit.
Yeah, and I did look up the homes.com. You could do it per property, or you could do the membership. I haven't found out about the membership yet, but I know that per property, like my one on Mar would have been like 270 something just for the listing, the life of the listing. And then they do other things like boosting it and whatnot, but you could do it per property.
Excellent. Anybody else have anything to add?
Does the Zillow one cost anything?
It does not.
Oh, okay. I've been using Kubi Casa, and it only costs $15, but it gives a floor plan and square footage and all that good stuff. It's been really nice.
Yeah, it does not cost anything on Zillow. So you can do a 3D home tour with your phone on Zillow, but it will not give you a floor plan. You have to use a 360 camera to be able to get the floor plan on Zillow. But once you invest in the camera, the services there are free.
Okay.
Kevin, what was the name of the company you used? April's asking.
Kubi Casa. I can send it to her.
Can you text that to her?
Yeah, I'll send it to her.
Excellent.
I just have something that so I had a listing where I interviewed, and there was also a Berkshire agent and a Howard Hanna agent.
Mm-hmm.
It went well. They ended up going with the Berkshire agent, and they told me the only reason why they did is because they felt that Berkshire was a bigger company, more well-known. Like, do you have an objection to something like that? Like,
well,
people are like, well, what's Realty One? I never,
I always tell them, like, bigger isn't always better.
Mhm.
I mean, McDonald's is the biggest restaurant around. Doesn't mean that they offer the most quality food for their price.
Right.
So bigger isn't always better.
That's what I said. I said, well, typically it's not always the brokerage that you pick for the agent that you hire that's associated with the broker. But
Absolutely. Yeah, because Berkshire has some great agents and they have some not so great agents. Yeah. I mean, every brokerage does except for ours, because all of our agents are amazing.
Also, I feel like someone's not going to buy a house because of the brokerage. They're going to buy it because the house itself and the agent and how they market it.
I think a lot of people just have like an old school mentality where, like, these people in particular, I know, called the Berkshire office to have somebody come look at the house, and like just felt like, oh, well, they were, everyone knows Berkshire, so
they do
have a bigger,
they do have that. But I often pulled out of my repertoire as well of like, okay, well, I get it, because I've never worked at a Berkshire. I worked at a Howard Hanna, but knowing how like Howard Hanna paid their agents, I would say, okay, well, there's always things to consider as to what an agent gets paid or compensated for the sale of your home as well, because all of the marketing comes out of pocket for that agent. And if they're not being paid competitively, or if they're being paid on a low split like Berkshire Hathaway or Howard Hanna agents are, that's less money available for that agent to spend on properly marketing your property. Whereas opposed to Realty One, who pays a high split and gives their agents 100% of the transaction, they have more money available to spend on you and getting you the best price for your home.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, of course, like always, I will stay on the line in case anybody has any questions. Thank you so much for joining the training today. Again, send me an email if you want a printed copy of the listing presentation. We'll be happy to get one to you at no cost. And if I don't see you guys today, I'm in the Hermitage office if you want to stop by. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Christina.